get to my part 2 video of both reflecting or mirroring using the Stamparatus. Thanks for coming today. You're with cmcstamps.com. That stands for Color Me Crazy. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I did some steps already, you guys, so it should be fairly easy to show you this, but I want to make sure that you know how to do each step. So we're using the Stamparatus once again. This time we're using our silicone mat, which is super awesome. And we're using one of the new stamp sets that's coming out soon, so you kind of get a sneak peeky of it. Yeah, I know, I just said sneak peeky. I'm kind of a dork when I'm on film. Okay, so this is what I did, you guys, as I put one of these little grid papers down, and it's so hard to pull them up, but there is a grid paper. See that? There's a grid paper down. Then I did my silicone mat. These things are amazing. And I put it up to the corner, and then I secured it down with one of my magnets. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna align both our paper and our stamp. And remember, these are the cling, you guys. So I almost just tore it. It's like really tempting to tear it. So you have to pick up a corner and slowly take it off. And I love it though, because it sticks so well to your blocks. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go 2 from the left. From this little hinge here, there's 2 grid squares, and I'm going to go 2 down from the top, and I'm going to put my paper right there. The reason I'm doing this, you're probably like, why are you doing that? Because when you're up against the corner, sometimes you don't get the best stamped image. And the beauty of using the Stamparatus is you get to put this wherever you want on your paper, and then simply pull it up, and then ink it. So let's see, my Momento is what I'm going to use to ink this up now. But I'm going to have to move my paper in just a second, because this is the part of the technique that you're going to be just in awe about, because it is so cool. I mean, when I learned this, I was like, mind blown. This is amazing. Okay, so moving the paper out of the way, but now I know exactly where it goes. This is going to be inked up fresh, okay, with some fresh Momento ink. And then you go down. Yes, I am stamping right onto my silicone mat, everybody. I'm defying all the rules. And then I stamp that there. I'm going to quickly put this down so it's going to transfer onto the back of my paper. And once it's down, I don't want to move it. So this magnet is essential for that part. Then I'm going to ink up again. So cool. You can also do this if you want. If you're not going to move too much, you can kind of smooth this across with your bone folder, and that gets the ink to transfer onto the back of your paper even more. And then once you're inked up, you just do it like regular. And then you know what is so cool, you guys? Now you have it. Look, it's going to the left. Now it's going to the right. Magic! So what you're going to end up with is different directions with your flower. Super cool. All right, so I'm going to show you real quick how to color and get to our last and final card. And our final card is so easy. So I think you're going to love it. Okay, first off, Stampin' Up! Is amazing, and they did develop these awesome dies to cut these out, but they're not available yet for us to buy. So I just fussy cutted this with my scissors, with my paper snips. So I can show you real quick how I do that. So this is an example of one already done, and I'm not going to cut the whole thing for you, but I do want you to know that you can cut things by hand just fine. Some people hate it, but it's really relaxing to me. I don't mind it. So, but the key is to move your paper, not your snips. Take a deep breath. Don't hold your breath. And then you're giving it a little bit of a white outline. And once again, you don't need to be perfect. Just do it however you do it, and that's fine. Okay, so that's how I cut it out. And let's go ahead and take one of my samples and color it. Okay, bringing out my blends again. So these are the lovely lipstick, both light and dark. I've got my daffodils, and then I've got several different greens. Don't worry, I'll put all the colors up on the screen for you. And I started with my darkest and the thin tip, and I kind of did a triangle. So I'm going to use this in front of me so I can kind of see. I did this really cool triangle, and I did color right over the black. And it's not a perfect little triangle, see? It's going to look different every time, and that's totally okay. And then you just color in real quick. I love the blends because it is fast coloring. Do you guys like the blends?
Yes.
Woo! I'm a huge fan, and I bet everyone else here seems to be fans as well. There's so many benefits to the blends. My one key for the blends, you guys, is do less of your dark color and more of your light color, and start with either the dark or the light first and then blend with the other. You need to use it so that they are still wet because they're alcohol based, so they will blend when they are wet. Like that's how they're active. And another thing that a lot of people worry about is it's not blending. Well, it takes a little bit of time to have that chemical reaction to blend, okay? So don't worry. Now I'm gonna take my lighter of the two yellows and I use my thicker side. See how there's a thicker line right there? So I use my thicker side. And okay, another thing with coloring, it's okay to leave some white spaces. So I left some white spaces. I'm going to speed this up and just let you listen to music. So you see how there's kind of a light and a dark to that? Cool, huh? Okay, now I'm going to do the very last one, and I start with my light on this one. Sometimes you can start with your dark first. I have a tendency to start with my light blend first. It's just, I guess, the way I like to color. Because it kind of covers everything the light does first, and then I tend to do my accents where I think it's going to shade naturally. You know, where the sun's not going to hit as much. That's where I'm going to do my dark color. So the light color first. Then right away, I bring in my second darkest color, my next darkest color, and I'm kind of just going to outline. So I shaded in here, and then I'm outlining just some other areas, and I'm only shading in where I think it's going to be dark. Cool, huh? Okay, now we're going to bring in my darkest color, which is Old Olive, the dark one, and I'm really only doing a little bit. Okay, now to get it to really blend, though, I think it's really important once you get your dark on to bring back maybe your light color and blend it in. See how cool that is? And just remember, give it a little bit of time to blend. And it does, it blends so beautifully. I love these markers. So see how I did that? And it wasn't too hard, you guys. And then you just cut them out. I'm not going to fully make the card, but I'm going to show you the next steps because I really want to get to our last card. Okay, so you'll notice that my card has this really pretty ribbon kind of background. I've also done one with a sequence that you can put together real fast with me, but let's go ahead and use your Big Shot with the Big Shot platform only by itself, 2 of your cutting pads. Oh, only 1 because this is a thick dynamic embossing folder, so we only need 1 of those plates. If you want to know more about how to do the embossing with embossing folders, I have a link to another video, so check it out. That will pop up either above or below. You can get to it that way. Okay, now just go all the way through. Ta-da! Worked out. And if you ever want it to get more dimension, you can spritz it with a spritzer beforehand. So now I've already used my bone folder and gotten my cardstock all done. Then I would glue this on next with either one of these glues. And then I did want to show you this part next because my little ribbon. This is how I like to tie ribbon, you guys. For you beginners that hate tying ribbon like I did. I didn't like tying ribbon. I leave it just so that it's still on its spool. And I'm only tying one side of it. And to be honest, the bow is not going to look good the first time you tie it. You kind of just adjust so that it looks better. So you do one loop, loop around it, pull it through. And then see how like one loop is too big? Well, that's fine. Just kind of move it around. And actually that turned out pretty nice. And then I'm just going to cut with my nice scissors. So then what I would do is I'd use some dimensionals on the back of this. You don't have to use a ton. I cut mine in half. You can use full. That's fine. Take it off. Put it down right at the top there of your paper. And then I wanted to get to this because I use the green glue for this. So I think green glue has its purpose. You can just put a little bit on the corner and that's it, you guys. The corner that's no one's gonna see and no one's gonna even know it's there. And then I like that you can kind of move it around and then glue this one flat. And you can position it however you want, but I kind of like them being layered like that. And then with your dimensionals, you'd grab your finished flowers once they're cut out with dimensionals on the back, put them on, and then these cute little embellishments. So there you go. Let's get to my last card. It's super fast, and I'm excited to show you. Okay, so I grabbed my stamp off the Stamparatus, and I'm gonna put it on my block. And it's the cling one, so it will like really cling on there. I mean, I just barely lay it down, and then I'm gonna go like that so that it's on there really well. Okay, this one totally looks like I did some fancy mirroring. Do you guys think it looks like it's got some fancy mirroring on it? But it's so simple. So make sure no inker is on your fingers. I hate when I get smears on my cards, especially when I'm using white and I have a black ink on my hands. So clean fingers, and then we're gonna put it like this. We're gonna ink up with our Momento. And I like to do my big stamps just flat and bring my ink to the stamp. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Okay, now I'm gonna go off to my right, and now I can see where I'm stamping and just stamp right there. This is so easy. So easy. Then I'm gonna ink it up. It's such a beginner card, and it's really fun. You get to do just enough coloring where you're not overwhelmed. You don't have to do any fussy cutting, and you get to use a punch. So there you go. Just stamp it like that. So it kind of looks like a cool like oval type thing. So pretty cool, huh? And then I would use the blends, but I'm not gonna do that today because you just saw me use the blends. I am going to show you how I did my saying. I'm inking my thank you up and with a punch, and then I'm gonna punch it out. So really big tip. Make sure that you stamp first and then punch second. And this is how you unlock your punches as you go to the top. Make sure when you're punching that you don't hit this because it will pop out and break. So I either do it like this. If you have a bad wrist, for example, people put it down and it will fly. Or I like to do it this way where I've got my paper now. See how cool that is because I've already stamped it. Then I can tell where I need to go. See how I can move it around? And then I kind of like lock it. Do you guys do this where you lock it down a little? I'm putting just enough pressure with both hands and sandwiching it down enough that it's gonna stay put. And then I have time to put both hands and punch. And sometimes it flies and sometimes it doesn't. So that time I did not lose an eye. It totally does. Sometimes it flings everywhere. But then I stamp that out, you guys. Then I color with my blends, whatever color your heart desires. And then I put my cute little embellishments on and a couple of these little dimensionals on the back here. And then I would stick that on and I am done. So that is a finished card. You guys, this was so fun today. Thank you for coming. And thank you for my team of buddies that are here to kind of learn and help me learn some more. I did learn some things today. But just so you know, you can visit me anytime at cmcstamps.com. Also, I have a fun team. We're named the Glitter Gal, the Glitter Gang. If you guys want to join and you want any information, you can head to my website. I've got info there. I'd love to have you join. And then shop anytime. I'm here for you. Thanks so much for visiting. I real quickly am going to show you a sneak peek because you made it to the end of the video of the cards that we're going to make in my next video. So this video has two parts. This is part one, and you can watch the second video on other ways to do reflecting. You want to see those cards? Okay, here they are. I love this one. I used watercoloring on this one, and the cute little doggies are looking at each other. And then this one is really fun. So you'd have this already punched and use your Stamparatus to have the piggies' noses touch like they're in love. And this one's real easy. This is basically a cool technique with the stamps. Okay, and the very final one. Love it. This one's the easiest, I think. So come back and watch my part 2 video. Thanks so much for visiting today, and visit me at cmcstamps.com. Thanks. Bye.